Hello everyone, happy January. This is going to be our first gardening video on this channel. I want to garden with you guys throughout the season, so that way if you want to follow along with what I do or just watch my little experiments, then you can go ahead and follow along and do so. I do have some videos that are going to be more helpful come out, like my seed starting videos, my garden planting videos, and we're going to talk about all of that stuff. But today I just have a fun little project. I had a bag of potatoes that I bought over Christmas that actually sprouted on my kitchen counter. So today I'm in the shed, I'm grabbing some grow bags, and we're gonna plant some potatoes from some grocery store potatoes that I have left over. Here's my collection of bags. Ignore the art. My sister and I might have had a little too much fun on New Year's Eve and decided to paint the shed. It didn't go well. Here are my grow bags. I'm just gonna grab, I think just one for now. I don't have that many sprouted potatoes, but I did order some that are going to be delivered in March. Here are the potatoes that sprouted on my counter. As you can see, I cut them into little sections because really the only piece you need is the little piece that has the sprout on it. So I saved all of these, left them out on my windowsill to dry a little bit, and now I'm going to bury them in a grow bag. This is my favorite kind of gardening, this little experimental, no kitchen waste kind, because I didn't have to spend any money on these potatoes. I already had potting soil in my shed, and then I also had grow bags available to me. So it might be a little pricey if you don't already have stuff laying around, but for me, nothing is wasted. These potatoes would have been thrown away, so even if this isn't the proper time to be planting potatoes, I'm still gonna try it, and I might get potatoes, and if I don't, I'll just throw the used soil into my compost and it'll get recycled and used into my raised garden beds over the summer. So first thing I'm gonna do is just add a couple inches layered of this potting soil that I have into the grow bag. All right, I have about 4 or 5 inches in the bottom of this bag, and all I'm gonna do is take the little sprouted potatoes and place them in the soil like that and space them out. I'll probably do 4 in this bag. And you want the little sprouted part to be facing upward because that's where the plant is going to grow from. Now I'm going to cover this with a couple more inches of soil. I'm actually going to give it like a quick water, and then I'm going to leave this outside. Our weather lately has been about 60 degrees, 63 sometimes, but it still gets really cold at night, which is why I'm doing grow bags, because I can leave them out in the sun during the day, and then at night I can actually bring them inside when it drops down below 45. So I'm going to be doing that. You're not really supposed to be growing potatoes indoors, but I have grow lights inside on days where it's too cold to leave them outside, and that's just my own little personal experiment. You don't have to follow along and do this if you don't want to waste anything, but for me this is going to be a fun little activity. I can keep going while I wait for spring planting. So I'm just going to cover these up a little bit. The fun thing about potatoes is once they grow leaves, you can actually, or you're actually supposed to, cover up the leaves again with soil. So as it grows, you just keep adding more dirt. So you don't need a whole lot to get started with, but for now this is all we're going to need. I'm just going to add a little bit of water, not a whole lot. And then I'm going to leave this in a sunny spot in my yard, and then this evening I'll probably bring it inside and just leave it by my back door. Potatoes aren't the only thing you can grow from kitchen scraps. I actually also had a head of garlic that started to sprout. So what I did with that was I actually planted it as well. I've actually been growing it inside. I know that garlic usually likes to be planted in the fall and then over winters, and that's how you usually grow garlic, but since I already have it and it's already growing, I went ahead and I planted it in 2 little trough planters that I'll take you guys over to and show you. So as you can see, the same little sprouted bulbs that I had from that little handful that I showed you, I planted, and now they have grown several inches now. I don't think I don't expect to get any garlic bulbs growing from these little sprouts, but I can use the tops of these as garlic scapes, which is kind of like a more garlicky green onion that I can cook with. So that's why I'm growing these, and also I just didn't want anything to go to waste, and I had the dirt and thought, why not? I am very much a why not gardener. There's going to be a lot of people saying like, oh, you can't plant this here, you can't plant this at this time, it's too cold for this. And my reasoning is, if I plant it and I don't lose any money doing so, and it's successful, and you know, everything grows, then why not do it? Like, even if it doesn't grow and I had fun doing it and I planted it and it was a fun little experiment, and now I have like a visual representation on like why you shouldn't do things that way. It's a learning experience, and I really enjoy doing things this way. So if you have any sprouted garlic, go ahead and plant it and get yourself some garlic scapes, and you can grow those in your house. So you don't even need a grow light really. I have a south facing window in my bedroom, so technically I don't even need this whole growing station over here. But it gives me some added security knowing that my plants are getting enough sunlight during the day. And since we're over here, I'm going to show you guys my little indoor growing station and let you guys know everything that I'm growing. If you've watched my main channel, you already saw me set all of this up, but I have planted a couple new things, and I also want to talk about some things that I'm going to be planting indoors pretty soon. So the first thing I have growing in my bedroom is arugula. So this is super cool because it grows really, really fast, and also it's just something that I can have on hand if I need a handful of lettuce. Right now it looks really wimpy. It doesn't look like it's going to give me a salad or anything, but I do have several other kinds of lettuce growing here, so hopefully I'll get a good variety going. This is kind of a cool weather crop. Actually, it is a cool weather crop. So it's actually doing really well indoors. I keep my temperature around 70 degrees, sometimes a little bit lower. So I think it's really liking its environment here. And like I said, grows really fast and doesn't need a whole lot of space. So in the winter when I'm just trying to grow something, this is really good for growing inside. Yesterday, I actually started these 2 plant pots of bunching onions. So I started these in the pots. I have nothing to show for them because I literally just planted them. But hopefully soon I should have some little bunching onion sprouts. I think that takes like 10 to 14 days to germinate. And then I have a loose leaf blend. I don't even know what this is because it came in a mystery package and I just decided to plant it. So these might need to be thinned out even more than I already have. But I'm keeping them here until they start to look a little yellow or something, and like that says the soil isn't as nutrient or the plants are competing for nutrients, and that's when I'll decide to weed them out. Then I have some cilantro growing here. This took longer to germinate than the other things, but now it is quite successful. I do have 2 that have not sprouted, but these ones took a long time, so I'm still waiting on those ones just in case. Over on our kale plants, I actually got my first 2 true leaves, which are these. The first leaves that come up are the ones that come out and get the sunlight and feed the plant and allow it to grow into what it's really supposed to be. So these are the true leaves that are actually going to be the edible kale leaves. It's still quite small, but it is growing quickly. I don't know why I said it so weird. They're growing quickly. And then on the side here, I have 2 romaine plants, and then I also have 3 heads of butter bib lettuce, I think it was called. I just wrote bib on the little tag here, but I have 3 of those and everything has germinated. I thinned them out so that way they would just be 1 per pot. And once they get a little bit bigger, I will take out these little things, move them lower from under the light, and then I also have adjustable shelves so I can move everything as the plants get bigger and also repot them into bigger pots as they need them. So just for now, I have a little salad garden growing inside, and I hope that maybe in the spring, once it seems to cool off and it's after the last frost date, I can actually transfer these outside if I would like. At this point in the season, I'm really just collecting seeds from all of the 2023 seed catalogs that have been coming my way. I've been planning out the things that I want to grow in this garden, and then also we're going to talk about planning your garden, planning where you're going to plant things, when you have to start seeds to get them into your garden, and stuff like that. So that's what I'm currently doing, is collecting the things that I would like to grow this year, and then deciding when I'm going to grow them, or when I have to start my seedlings, which I'm in growing zone 7, so that means I actually get to start a lot of my seedlings like 8 to 10 weeks out, which can actually be in like mid-February. So you might think gardening season and spring is kind of far from now, but for me, and having our last frost date being in April 15th, I believe is the date for us, I actually have to get started on that stuff pretty quickly. So I'm gonna put out videos as I make them, as I start working on my garden, and hopefully you guys can follow along and enjoy the gardening season with me. But thank you guys so much for watching and subscribing to my new gardening channel. I am so excited to share this with you guys.